What's up, guys? I'm Massive Clips Kid, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Galaxy Gear Live and talking a little bit about the update that literally just came out. I was charging my device and it came out while I was charging it, and we're going to be talking about that brand new update. As far as I know, this is only a Gear Live update. It's not a software update that's Android Wear Live, but we're going to be talking a little bit about that, my experience with the the Gear Live the past 2 weeks or so. I've had it for roughly about a week and a half. I'm talking about smartwatches in general, and I'm going to keep the time down on this video. I want to keep it under 10 minutes, so let's get right into it. First thing I'll talk about is the build quality of the device. I really like the build quality. One of the things that I've come to appreciate is that it has kind of a, it looks like a nice watch. It doesn't look cheap at all. It's got a nice metal. It's aluminum. Let me go ahead and I'm going to adjust my lighting a little bit here and try and refocus. There we go. You see, it's got a nice aluminum look. It's definitely different from other Samsung products that you see out there, which are, plastic. You got plastic all around, something that kind of look like metal, but mostly plastic. Not really, your choice to say whether that's a good thing or bad thing. Personally, I don't really mind, but when it's on your watch and it's getting kind of, hit around, possibly, that's a nice thing, because you just don't really want to be wearing a plastic watch around that costs $200, at least in my opinion. Sorry, Pebble users. But yeah, it just looks really nice, especially if you're using a variety of different watch faces. I have the Tron watch face on here. This is one of the apps you can easily get in the store. But let's say oh wow, they totally changed this part too. I have not used the new update very much, but this is a lot more seamless than it was before. If I want to switch it to the dark analog, you see that still looks pretty good. It's got the metal, which works nicely with the more classy design, and this strap doesn't look, super cheap, so it still looks, fine like that. I still like the Tron watch face the most. It seems to be the most, I don't know. It's most easily read, and I like it. It just looks awesome. So that's me. Yeah, that's the main thing with build quality. I don't like the strap. That's kind of probably my main complaint with this watch, is the strap isn't so great. It's just got these two little pins here that kind of clamp in. It's weird to get on the first couple of times. At this point, I can say I can get it on without really any struggle. It takes about 2 seconds, but could have been made a lot better. And as a matter of fact, what really confuses me, the original Gear, the Gear 2, and the Gear Neo, all watches made by Samsung that came out. Yeah, actually, they didn't all come out before this, but they all have the same strap, which is better than this one. And then for some reason with this watch and the Gear Fit, they completely changed it to this more buckle design. I don't really know what they were thinking. I just like this one a lot more. Maybe the other one was more expensive to manufacture, and in order to keep prices down, with the metal up here, they switched to this. I don't know. Whatever. Not the biggest deal because you can replace it, but moving on. So in terms of the actual usage of the watch, first of all, battery life. I want to talk about battery life. I find usually my watch lasts all day. It has about 20% to spare, 25, sometimes even 30. It depends entirely on how much you're using it, what settings you have. I'm sure I wouldn't be getting through my entire day that easily if I had always on, enabled, which always on basically makes your watch feel more like it's a regular watch because the screen is, well, always on. And there's not that much benefit to that in my opinion, but, some people might just really like that feature if they... I'm going to turn the brightness down. Kind of bothers me to have the brightness up. OCD thing. What was I going to say? Yeah, if you have the always on screen, then you're constantly, using battery. It just doesn't make all that much sense. Something interesting that happened to me today is I forgot to charge my watch, and I was noticing towards the end of the day it was getting to be like 15%, and that was in the last probably 2 hours of my day, and I just decided to turn Bluetooth off on my phone and disconnect it from the watch, and amazingly it went from like 15% to like 13% over the course of 2 hours. So if for some reason you want to have just a watch that's highly customizable and maybe not connected to your phone for whatever period of time, it seems to do really well. It'd be very, very functional, or efficient would be the word, if you want to do that. So those are just a couple of little things. Now, some of the main things with the update, this is really cool. I love this. You scroll down, it used to just kind of be that if you pulled down, that would be vibrate or not vibrate. Now, when you pull it down, it stays. You can see your battery percentage, but then you also get, as you can see, some windows. If I scroll once, you can see theater mode. With theater mode, you can see you turn on, if you're moving your wrist around in any way, it does not trigger the watch. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. It's kind of nice to make it just where if you want to have your watch triggered, you're not triggering it by accident, especially if you're in a movie theater. That makes a lot of sense. You have sunlight mode, which makes the brightness of the screen go up, so it's a lot more visible in sunlight. And it just kind of does that for a brief period of time. This is kind of a quicker way to get to your settings, so you don't have to do the other kind of convoluted way. Accessibility here. It's kind of large text. That's a new feature. There's watch face, reset device. Don't want to do that. Airplane mode, always on screen, Bluetooth. Yeah, nothing too special over there. And that's that. So those are some nice little shortcuts. The Google Now interface has changed slightly. You get a bit more color going on here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this light off. Hopefully you'll be able to see the screen a little bit better. Come on, bear with me. Maybe if I turn the brightness down. Okay, there we go. Now we're, dang it. Okay, there we go. So, as you can see, now we have a bit more color going on here. The logo is changed for Google. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Stop it. That's kind of nice. You get your basically Google Now, your settings, your play music, your steps, your notes, your reminders, pedometer, heart rate, texting, email, agenda, and navigation is nice. That's a nice feature. I haven't used that yet. Let me go ahead and try that out real quick, actually. This is actually not a new feature, as I was thinking initially it was, but it's just not something that I found myself using, but it's definitely a useful feature on there. Let me see. Okay, Google. Where's the nearest Starbucks? Okay, there's some... So it looks like it doesn't want to take me directly there. It's just going to open it on my phone, actually. Actually, this is my old phone. Derp. This is my S3. I now have an S5. So that's cool. But anyway, so those are some of the new... Just the new kind of interface that they've worked out. Looks a little bit prettier. Functionality-wise, not a lot's happening. As an extension to this, because we're still doing fair on time, and in terms of other stuff, I highly recommend getting the Wear Mini Launcher. It's an app that, this little scroll that I just did, boop, that shows you all of your settings. You can just click on everything. It's a lot more kind of user-friendly. All your setting alarm and everything is a bit more easy to get to, and probably the most useful feature is if you scroll again, you can adjust your brightness on your screen. You can, wait for it, phone can sound. That's my phone that's way over there, which is kind of a nice way. It's kind of a built-in phone finder, which can be incredibly useful. And speaking of which, you also get the battery percentage of your phone. So if I'm just sitting here on my computer wearing my smartwatch, my phone's charging, and maybe, I don't know, I'm texting with someone even, because it's a smartwatch and I can text someone, and I'm getting plans together. I go, okay, well, where's the battery at my phone? 95%, alright, I'm good. I don't have to bring a charger or whatever. This is the volume on your phone, so if you wanted to play music for whatever reason or something like that, also a nice function. I just put on 2048, which is a little game I have on here. Don't really recommend playing games on smartwatches, not that there's anything bad with it, but it's just generally I wouldn't expect that to be a main usage. I think it's more of a tool than it is a toy, would be, I guess, kind of a quick way of saying it. It's a tool, not a toy. And thereby I think it may be a bit harder for some people to get excited by smartwatches, because it's not so much this device that's super cool and you can do like a million different things with it, like a smartphone or something like that. It's hard to classify. It's new. It's weird. It's like when tablets came out, people were like, "That's a giant iPod Touch. Why do you need that? Why don't you watch that on your TV? Why don't you why do you need that everywhere?" But now that it's been around for a while, it's like, well, why don't you want a tablet? You can do everything with a tablet. Smartwatches are right now in kind of an awkward category. I think at the time, there's less reasons to buy a smartwatch. I think in the future, we're going to be seeing a lot more developing, and in the future, I mean the very near future, within, months and years, more likely months, we're going to see a lot of new great apps. I think a Pandora app is definitely in the future in the making. The ability where you can just tell your phone, you can already tell your smartwatch, I'll do it right now. Okay, Google. It's a little bit far away from me. Okay, Google. Dang it. Okay, Google. Open Pandora. And it's going to go ahead and open the app Pandora on my phone. Take a second. Bink. And I gotta make sure my volume's up. My phone is like face down on the speaker. Dang it. Get over my volume. And there we go. I'm playing music on my phone. And I change the volume just like that. You can listen to my music, whatever. You get kind of a nice view of the artist. Let me go ahead and focus in a little bit better. I'll try. It's not showing you. You can't read the text, but it's saying that's Cascade and Deadmau5. I remember. I can play pause. All that goodness. I can skip songs. For some reason, I guess when you pause, the skip button goes away. But right now, that's what you got for Pandora. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Slide that off the screen. We're done. No more music. I think a better Pandora app is in the making. But right now you still got a pretty good control, and honestly it may seem like a small thing, but the ability to control your music and look at the artist is kind of nice, as opposed to just kind of staring at your phone and trying to especially navigate around people when you're walking around in public. Can be kind of a big deal. So those are some of the main things. Overall, I think the big question for a lot of people, should you buy a smartwatch? My response to that would be, if you want to. I think that right now, I wouldn't say a novelty, it's more of a kind of a geeky item, is what I would classify it as. There's a lot of stuff, if you spend some time playing with it, you can go like, wow, this is really useful. This is, I can look up places, I can do Google searches, I can do this and that, I can, there is a lot of added functionality that you get right now. I think that it is more than just kind of a little toy. It is a useful tool in a lot of ways, especially if you work and you're in a situation where you can't always respond to people's texts, or you can't even read their texts. Especially if you're like me, you know, maybe someone texts you, you're trying to get a plan together, you don't really know what you're doing with your Saturday night, and it's getting to be, you know, 8 o'clock, somebody texts you, you can get a plan together without ever having to take your phone out of your pocket, without ever having your manager yell at you, or something like that. You know, you can you can keep your phone charging and playing music while it's across the room. You can switch out your watch band and your watch face, without having to buy a new watch to suit it with whatever you're wearing. So I keep doing that. To go to this, yeah, you can switch out, you know, with tons and tons of different watch faces. These are just mostly preloaded ones, but there's tons that you can find in the store, and I think that it's a useful tool, like I said, depending on what you're doing, and, you know, I wouldn't expect it. If you're looking at getting a smartwatch, don't expect it to be completely life-changing, but it will definitely help you in a lot of ways, and it can make a lot of things easier and make your life kind of more seamless. So, on that note, if you have any more questions about, you know, Android Wear or smartwatches in general, or more specifically the Gear Live, other thoughts or questions, feel free to ask. I'm Asa Klubskid, and thank you for watching.